When you first log into the clinical grading app, this is the screen that you'll see. All the students that are currently seeing patients on clinic will be listed on here. So the first thing you need to do is find the student. I'm going to use this student here as an example. So you just click on the arrow pointing to the right, and it will take you into that individual student's records. Every appointment that they've been graded on will appear, but for a new entry, you want to go to the plus. First thing we need to do is enter the patient information. The patient ID is their PICO number, sometimes referred to as the first initials of their site that they're in. So in Stornoway there would be STY, Inverness INB, and Dumfries they use DDC. The student will allocate that number to the patient and they keep a log of each patient, but this number must not be anything by which the patient could be identified otherwise. So it mustn't be their R4 or exact number, and it mustn't be their date of birth. It's their PICO number. So I'll just put demo in for this purpose. The date and the time is already set by the app. Our patients come into age categories, so children are under 18, adults are up to the age of 60, and senior are over 60. And then gender, male or female. If it's a special needs patient, we can just take that slide over. And if the patient has not come in, whether because they failed to attend or because they cancelled on the day, we can just note one of these. We then click update and it takes us back to the screen for that student. You need to find their entry, it will always be at the bottom. You can click on this again, and now the entry is being created. So to add in the data about the treatment that's been provided, we go to grades, and then you'll see our categories of categories of treatment that we would carry out. So in prevention, we have oral hygiene instructions, smoking cessation, fluoride advice, fissure sealants, nutritional analysis, or temporary restorations. It's just a case of ticking down. Now, some of these things will only be 1 or 0. Obviously, a student can only give oral hygiene advice or not. Other times you will find you can pick a number. So for fissure sealants, obviously they could have done a number of them. So just select what is appropriate, click update. That may be all the students done, in which case you would move to grading. But just to show you, we also have our periodontal treatment sections, which includes perio charting and then the different categories of periodontal treatment. In restorative, we talk about permanent tooth restorations and deciduous tooth restorations and the complexity. Those complexities are explained in a separate document. And also whether they have used rubber dam or not. It's an easy one to forget, that one, so if you just always remember to record just yes or no as to whether they've used rubber dam 1 or 0. Then we have our radiographs. OPTs, bite wings and periapicals are the ones that we're doing on clinic. There is a section for other types, but we use them for the clinical skills process. And then we have our other category, which nothing else really fits into. Deciduous extraction is under LA, is what we use on clinic. GA is done elsewhere. Recementation, impressions, that is per impression. So if they take an upper and lower impression, then that's 2. Don't need to concern yourself with off-site visit. PICO, 1 or 0 when they complete one, and to complete a patient 1 or 0. Again, don't need to concern with integrated team working. We use that elsewhere. So that's the first thing to do as the clinical supervisors, to go in and note what's been done, and then we move to the grading step. So in grading, we have a section for the student to add their reflection, the nurse who's been on clinic to add their comments, and the tutor to add theirs. So first of all, the student needs to enter their grading. So this is the point at which you would hand over the device, whether it be a tablet or a laptop or whatever, and ask the student to add in their reflection there. That is an important part of the grading process. So I would always get the student to put their reflection on first before you then give them their grades. You want to read that first. Once the student has entered their reflection, you can just click update. Then there's the section for the nurse to add their thoughts on. This is just a drop-down menu, and obviously it's very much within their remit as the nurse. So communication with them, communication with the patient, and generally how organised they were, that is on the same grading categories as we use. So excellent, good, satisfactory, or unsatisfactory. Again, we should consider that when we're putting our own grades in as supervisors. So we click update, and then it will take us to the tutor grading. So in here, you'll see is a space for our feedback. Very important that the feedback we give links directly to the grades that we provide, and also that the student is going to be able to benefit and move forward with the feedback that they've been given. So pop your feedback in, obviously have a discussion with the student, and then we can award the grades. So there is a grade section available for each category, and students must be awarded a grade for each category of treatment that they've completed. If they have only done preventative category treatments, fine, we'll just give them a preventative grade and leave the rest blank. But it may be that they've completed items that fall into multiple categories. So each category that they've completed treatment for, it should have a grade. Please do not give them grades for categories in which they haven't completed treatments. That throws the data off. So to make sure that these categories that they've got grades for link to the ones that we looked at previously and where we record the treatment. So once you've put your feedback in and you have awarded the grades, we just go to update. And at this point, you can still go back and make changes. If in the process you've realised, oh, I forgot to record something, then we can just nip in and do that. Once you're happy that everything is on there that needs to be on, we then need to publish the grades. And we do that just by clicking here. Publishing the grade means that it cannot be edited. So make sure we've got everything that we need to first, and then we go to publish. And then it will take us back to the start where all the students are available. If you want to double check what that looks like, what you've just published, you would just go back into the student, and the latest entry will always be at the bottom down here, and you can see this is the patient we just created. It says that it's been graded by myself, and it's got the date and the time that that was done. So this does need to be done at the time, certainly on the same day. We don't want to be grading students at a later point, because again, that is tricky for our data. And please ensure you do always publish your grades. If they're not published, it doesn't enter into our database. It also means that it could be go back and changed at a later date. And just like with patient records, these records of the student's performance and activity need to be contemporaneous. If you have any problems using the app, you can just give myself, Lizzie Hall, an email. I'm very happy to support you with that. Similarly, if you happen to, by accident, make a mistake on the recording app, but it's already published, so you can't change it, it's not a problem. If you let myself or Gillian Ford, the programme director, know, we can actually go in and manually edit the database, because obviously these things happen sometimes. But yeah, any support, if you need any advice, just let me know.